Hi everyone, this is Sophia and welcome to a new Empties video. I was going to wait another 2-3 weeks to do this, but then I saw how much was in here and I was like, I cannot wait anymore. This is literally from October, maybe even end of September onwards. Usually for these empties, I also include like another beauty haul, but I am trying to cut down on like saving product. And I'm also about to go to France, so I don't want to buy too much beauty products that would just end up sitting here. So that's why there's no haul in this video. But if you are into K-beauty and Olive Young, please tell me if you have any favorites that you think is worth trying, because that website is kind of overwhelming. Let's just get started because there's a lot to go through here. I'm going to start with Haircare. The first Haircare is this and honey shampoo set that I bought from Japan. I have different thoughts for the different products. So the shampoo is amazing. It lathers like crazy, it smells divine, and the smell will linger in your hair until your next wash for the most part. It definitely doesn't feel like it weighs your hair down. It's very light. You don't necessarily need a lot for even a good lather, and this can definitely last you a solid 5-6 months depending on how much shampoo you use. So I really like this and I definitely will repurchase. The conditioner, on the other hand, I'm not a big fan of because it just kind of disappears and it never feels like you have enough to do any conditioning for your hair, if that makes sense. Like, it kind of just melts away, which is probably the point of the product, but I personally don't like conditioner that does that. For me, conditioner should feel like it's kind of protecting my hair a little bit. I understand why you would use both of them, and in fact I didn't realize there was technically like a leave-in treatment in between these two options. So if I buy the set next time when I'm in Japan, I'm probably going to buy like the full line actually. I'm thinking that if I use the kind of deep hair treatment, the conditioner might work better. It still smells great. It is super light on your hair. It doesn't weigh it down at all. I also have these two hair oils. This one is the Moist Shine Oil, which was fine. It definitely gives you extra shine. I don't know about moisture, but it is really nice. It melts really easily on the hand and into the hair. There's really nothing bad to say about it. I feel like their hair oils, both of these, are pretty okay. Like, they're not the best hair oil I've ever used, but they do a good enough job. I actually really like the pumps of these because they're super smooth and they disperse a good amount of product. The catch is, however, if you have short hair and so you don't need a lot of hair oil, you got to be careful with how like much you pump, because one whole pump is quite a bit of hair oil. For the melty one, this has been so long that I completely forgot how I felt about it, but I feel like it was nice too. I went from one to the other and it didn't really make that much of a difference. In general, the And Honey line is definitely okay to look into if you're in Japan. In America, these are so expensive, it's almost not worth the money. This Kerastase shampoo, this is one of my favorite Kerastase lines because it smells divine. This shampoo lathers like crazy. You also don't need a lot. I tend to use this shampoo treatment as a second wash because it's quite an expensive shampoo, and when you use it as a second wash, you don't need as much product. You truly only need like a quarter-sized amount for your scalp, and so it lathers like crazy. If you use too much, actually it lathers too much. I also feel like they changed the packaging because I bought this a second time and it's no longer in the opaque one, it's in a clear packaging. It doesn't look like the formulas changed that much. Oh, also, I would only ever buy this when the Sephora sale is happening. And then this item will be literally no surprise for anyone who's seen any of my Empties videos, and that is the Mika the Wizard refills. I have one more left. I'm in the middle of using one. These are amazing. Don't know what else to say. I also have, oh, that's dirty, I'm so sorry, this conditioner by the brand Odell. And yeah, sorry, that's dirty. You can find this at Target. Their clarifying shampoo is actually one of my favorite clarifying shampoos for the price point. This conditioner was okay. It was very light on the hair. It felt more conditioning than the And Honey one actually. So it felt like it kind of coated my hair nicely without weighing it down. I'm really not a big fan of how they disperse the product though, because it just gets clogged up really easily, and I don't understand why it cannot just be a pump or just even like a squeeze. This Fable and Mane hair oil. This is a pre-wash treatment, and I will say it's okay. It's quite expensive for what you get, and you do end up using quite a little bit of product if you have certain places in your head that you'd like to do it for. I think you're supposed to use it for like certain points of your head, but personally I just use it all over. I feel like this bottle I end up going through it quite quickly. I'm not a big fan of the dropper. I don't know what else like how else they could disperse the product, so I think the dropper it is, but I feel like it's kind of a weak dropper. This is technically my second bottle, so it's not the worst pre-wash hair oil that I've tried, but it's also not like mind-blowing. And I think the only reason why I keep buying it is because I feel like there's not a lot of pre-wash hair oil options in Sephora. But if you have a favorite, please let me know. I've tried this one and the Ceremonica one. This is a essentially leave-in conditioner that I got in Japan. I did not really like this. I got this from the hairdresser that I went to, and she recommended it for colored hair. It was fine. There was like not a lot of product, especially if you have long hair. I feel like you end up using quite a bit of it. It's a pump, which the pump itself was actually pretty nice. It was mediocre. I don't think you can tell. This is the Korean leave-in hair mask. I think this one is being touted as the Korean version of the Japanese Fino hair mask. I am a lover of the Fino hair mask. It is one of my favorites, but this was meh. First of all, the amount you get is tiny, and especially if you have long hair, you use it up even quicker. I think I managed to get through this in 2 weeks. I just think that's way too short of a time for any sort of like conditioner product. It is not a very expensive product, so I can understand how it can be loved by some people, but yeah, I just feel like the Fino one is way better. It also just kind of disappears on your hair, so like as you're putting it on, it just kind of melts away, and so it's really hard to tell if it's doing anything. I feel like when I wash it off, like I don't see any difference in my hair. Okay, let's move on to skincare. The first is this rice paper mask from Japan. This is the tub version, which basically means it had like 30 or something. 28. So I had to be really diligent about wearing this mask almost every Wednesday and every Sunday to use it up, because I feel like the tub idea is actually really ingenious, because I feel like you get way more bang for your buck. But the catch is that because it's in a tub form, it can also dry out really quickly. Not that I've had experience, but I feel like that was one of my fears. And so that's why I was really consistent with using this. I don't necessarily think I saw like a brightening change in my skin, but you know, I feel like it's one of those things where you can tell over time kind of thing. I'm not a big fan of the mask itself. It's on the rougher side, but I think the product itself, you definitely get a decent amount of product. You will definitely have product left over on the sheet mask that you can take to your neck. And it does take a beat to dry because there's so much product. So what I like to do is that I will, once I take this mask off, I will use a fan to dry the product before I put on my skincare. Honestly, if you really want to try this product, I would recommend buying just the packet version. But if you do already know you like this mask, then definitely just buy the tub version, because I just think it's way more useful. I'm gonna rapid fire this, otherwise it'll be here forever. The Beauty of Joseon toner. This was okay, mediocre. I don't feel like I saw any measurable impact on my skin. It was nice while it lasted, and you definitely get a decent amount of product for how much it is. This one's super dirty because it just is. This one was also okay, pretty basic. It didn't really affect my skin in a negative way. This one was something that I used for like nighttime, and this was great. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the Belif Aqua Bomb, and so I think if you're looking for like a dupe, this one might be a good alternative, and you can find this on Amazon or on like Olive Young. This is also not going to be a surprise for anyone who's seen my videos, but I have 2 of the Pcom sunscreens. This one's just really good, really basic, but there's not a lot of product in here, so you can go through them pretty quickly if you use these daily. This is basically my go-to night cream at this point because it is on the thicker side and it just feels really moisturizing and seals all my skincare in. I'm literally using a third one right now. And then the same for this keto cream. It's just really good. It's really basic. This is probably my go-to kind of summer moisturizer because it's on the lighter side and it still feels very hydrating on the skin without making you feel oily. The Kiehl's Retinol Microdose Serum. This is one of my favorite kind of daytime serums, but even then I don't use this in the daytime. I prefer to use retinol at nighttime just because you know, you don't want to use retinol and then be in the sun, and my office gets a lot of sunlight. So this is one of my favorites. I don't recommend buying this full price. Kiehl's is really good at kind of doing sales pretty often, so I would recommend going when they are doing like a site-wide sale. Most of the times they're really generous with their discounts. It's usually like 25%. This is a little bit on the expensive side, but you don't need a lot and it'll go a long way. The Biore Aqua UV sunscreen. This is now my favorite sunscreen. I'm using up my current sunscreen options right now, but I think I will end up repurchasing this for sure. Highly recommend you try it, especially if you prefer sunscreen that is on the watery side. This one also does not leave a white cast. It just doesn't require a lot of effort to kind of rub into your skin, and that's what I really like about it. And also, you can't tell because I've like cut it to use it up, but you get definitely a decent amount of product for the price. In America, this is quite expensive, so if you're going to Japan, please stock up. This cleanser, this was fine. Honestly, I did not expect it to be more of a balm-like cleanser. I thought it was going to be more gel-like, and I prefer the more gel-like ones because I feel like it's more gentler on the skin. The balm ones just feel like it takes a little bit more effort. Fresh moisturizer, which I use as a night cream. This one was actually really, really nice, but it has a really, really strong scent. I feel like the scent does linger just a little bit after you apply it, but it does disappear after a while, so it's not like it's gonna follow you around all night. It is also a very expensive product. Here is the last skincare. I technically haven't used this up, but it's because I had to dispense it because I somehow managed to like tear a little bit open. So anytime I like squeeze this, product would just come out. So I was like, okay, I just have to disperse it and put it in a tub or something. This is one of my favorite like acne treatments from Japan. I have like 2 or 3 tubes of this. They are on the expensive side if you buy them in America, but also in Japan, they're also on the pricier side because it's considered like a pharmaceutical product. But you really don't need a lot, so I just feel like for the amount you're getting, it's definitely good bang for your buck. And then as usual, I have a ton of Carmex lip balms. I have one makeup empty, and it's only because it's dried out. And that is the M Cosmetics brow product, brow brush. This is hands down, honestly, one of my favorite brow brushes because the brush head is so thin that it disperses the product really beautifully on your eyebrows. I already have like a backup, so it's really not a big deal. I just haven't been wearing makeup enough to buy a lot of makeup. So yeah, this one's great. And then the very last product, Empties, are all candles. And so the first one is this candle. I think it's from Target. This was a Christmas gift, and I basically used it up as much as I could. This one also smells really good. It smells like Christmas, which I think it was a Christmas scent. And then I also managed to use up this candle. This smells like a Christmas tree. I mean, it's called a tree house. This was a recent discovery. If you are in New York and if you ever walk by this owner's stall, please, please, please go smell their candles because it is beautiful. And that is this candle brand. I think they were telling me that I don't think they sell online. They only do those like holiday markets, and so unfortunately you do have to catch them at a very specific time. I bought 2 of their candles. I'm actually kind of sad to be running low of the second candle, but this one's my favorite scent. It just smells divine. And then the very last candle, this Diptyque scent that I bought I think 3 years ago. So it is quite an old seasonal candle, and of course I'm going to keep the jar. I feel like Diptyque scents smell so strong, but they also smell really good. So that is it for all of my empties in this video. Thank you so much for watching if you watched all the way through. If you have any questions about any of the products I mentioned, please let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to answer you. But hopefully I'll see you next time for another one. Bye guys.